sporting directors, and I'm fully behind the project and what we're trying to build.
Liam, you can't stop smiling. Just how significant a piece of business is this for the club?
Yeah, I can't stop smiling because we secured the best player in world football in his position, and he had many opportunities to leave this magnificent club. And the good thing is not just the size and the stature of the club that he's come through from a very, very young age, but it's his belief and confidence in what we're doing here, where we want to go. We've had many conversations about it. For him to sign a deal and put his faith in us is a massive step.
Why do you feel like Reece is the best player in the world in that position?
Do I have to explain that when you see him play? Huh? I don't want to embarrass him. He's top. No, he's top. When you meet Reece, you see him from afar and you admire him. He can play many different positions technically. He can score goals. He defends. His athleticism, tactical understanding. The thing that impresses me most about him is his humility and him as a person. And you realise why he's having and will have the career that he will go on to have as the captain of Chelsea. For as long as I'm here, he'll be my leader. So for me, it's been a really, really good 2.5 months with him. I now understand a lot more why he is the player he is. And he's going to go on to have, hopefully, a really successful career here at this club.
In terms of team news for tomorrow's game, Jamie Gittins and Estevao, are they closely involved?
Jamie's back involved, which is great. Este's still a little bit further away. We want to be careful with Este because of the nature of his hamstring injury. We don't want it reoccurring at a crucial stage of the season. We'll see what he's like for Tuesday's game against PSG.
There's been a lot of focus on goalkeepers this week. Do you feel like the options that you have at Chelsea are good enough for a club the size of Chelsea?
For sure. Obviously, I made a decision to play Philippe against Aston Villa, and his performance was outstanding and contributed to a very good win against a very good team. And I think his performance for 75 minutes was magnificent. He makes a mistake and we get punished, and we go on to lose a game in a manner that we definitely shouldn't have lost. Rob Sanchez is one of the best goalkeepers in the league. There's no question about those two players' quality at this level. It's more about my decision for each game in which way I go in that position. And
bearing in mind what happened on Wednesday night, how is Philip? Is he in a position mentally to start the game again tomorrow?
For sure. Everybody makes mistakes in life, in football. It's how you recover, it's how you respond to a setback. I've got no issues, no lack of trust with the two goalkeepers I have, or the team. And I'm really, really looking forward to getting back on the pitch with what happened in the last 15 minutes on Wednesday.
UEFA have opened an investigation after Pedro Neto pushed a ball boy on Wednesday evening, and we saw he was sent off against Arsenal earlier this month. I know he's apologised. It's great to see him come out and apologise for his actions, but are you concerned that he's struggling to control his emotions at certain times on the pitch?
Yeah, I think it's. I've seen the incident back now, and it doesn't look good in terms of. I understand Pedro's perspective. He wants to get the ball back in play as quickly as possible. He wants to win for the club. There are ways you go about it. What I was so impressed with him was for him, and it was his idea. He's like, he wanted to apologise straight away. Like I've just said, whether it's a goalkeeper, whether it's me as a manager, a player, we make mistakes, but it's about learning from those mistakes and making sure they don't happen again.
And finally, for me, given the state of the Champions League tie against PSG, do you almost need to prioritise the Premier League more and ensure you are back in the Champions League next season?
I don't prioritise any competition. The way that we play, we want to win the next game. I've seen teams come back from 3 goals down in the Champions League at home many times. With the amount of chances that we created in the game after analysing it back, we still have a very good chance if we can get the first goal in the first half on the Tuesday night after this important game tomorrow.
Thanks, Liam. Thanks, Reece.
Thank you.
Soraya.
Hi, Reece, congrats on the contract extension. Liam, good to see you. Just on the back of PSG, obviously it was a game with such momentum, maybe the scoreline doesn't even reflect the actual game. But you waited quite a long time to make some subs. Newcastle was also speaking, they've got Barcelona about their fatigue and time in the squad. What was your rationale? Did you just think the lads on the pitch were doing a good job?
You've said it. Sometimes it's that simple. We were in a really good place. We're in a really good place in the game. The last thing you want to do is disrupt the flow of the team in terms of making changes for the sake of making changes. At 2-2, we were. I've watched the game back. Even at the time, I felt that we were in the ascendancy in that moment, and then we make a mistake and it gets to 3-2, and the rest is history. I'll make changes when I feel it's the right time to make changes for the team. I don't think too far ahead for the next game. It's about, in this stage of the season, it's about the importance of each game, and starting with the game tomorrow. My thought on the team for PSG, what that looks like, hasn't even entered my head for Tuesday.
And as a coach, you always speak about equipping players with the tools, but you want them to go on the pitch and think in the moment and do
100%.
What's best fit for them. But dropping the points that you have from winning positions or those errors that have happened, how do you in your role actually make the team more clinical? Because there were many chances in some of the games you've lost where it's a different story.
Yeah, I think I've been here for 2.5 months. That's the reality. It feels like a long time with the amount of games that we've had. How you learn from mistakes, the way I work with the players, is we sit down, we go through a lot of clips, as Reece would tell you, sitting next to me, amount of times he's been in my office, and sometimes it's 2 or 3 clips that you show. What you want to see after that is an improvement. But I've been here for 2.5 months, so it takes time. We don't have much time left. We need to learn from, especially the Leeds and Burnley games where we dropped 4 points from winning positions at home. And if we do that with the consistency in our performances, we won 4-1 at Villa the last game. We're in a good place to do what we want to do.
And when you're making decisions in the business end of the season, being a manager right now is such a human job. You have to make a lot of things with human and people's thoughts and emotions in your mind. Right now, is it more data about what's going on? Are you following statistics or are you following your gut feeling? Because picking goalkeepers and changing goalkeepers and playing Gusto, what do you think about that?
I don't think it's more one or the other. What you do, we have got an amazing analyst team. 10 people in our analytics department. You take the information from them, but you can never not go with your eye or your intuition at the moment. What affects your intuition and your eye is the data that you pick up in the week when you're assessing the games and the players that are performing. So it's a combination of both.
Okay, thank you.
Nizar?
Liam, I wanted to ask you about that Enzo Fernandez incident you asked about at the end of the game. He kind of threw the ball. He's obviously a great player, but threw the ball towards Philip and shouted at him a bit. I wondered if that's sort of a normal reaction in sort of a league level sport, or is that a bit too much? And
Nah,
that's a bit worrying?
I watched it back. I was asked about immediately after the game. I hadn't seen it. That's a player with passion who wants to win. Roy Keane did that probably. Roy Keane was my manager, and Roy Keane as a player probably did that 20 times a game. I want a team with a culture of accountability where we can demand from each other in the moment. Enzo loves Philippe. Enzo wants the best for him. Enzo believes in him. But in that moment, he was frustrated with something that happened, and it's no more than that.
I wanted to ask Reece as well, as the captain, you've got a vice-captain there as well. How does it work with the dynamics in the leadership team? How do you lean on that? Maybe you're more of a calm character and Enzo's more of an aggressive character.
No, I mean, I think we work hand in hand. You know, he has a lot of influence on the dressing room as well, you know, with a lot of non-English speaking players. I know we work together, and, you know, ultimately we both want the best for the club and want the team to do well.
Do you think you two could be like a long-term leadership